Thank God you said PlayStation actually, because FTC I hadn't a clue what the fuck that meant.
Well, that's
But
not PlayStation, right? That's
football team champion,
no. What does it say in the article?
FTC,
Get it up there.
Federal
Why
Trade
not?
Commission. There we go.
Right. There's a
Yeah, it's
few
actually
different crowds. There's a few different crowds trying to block
Yeah.
Xbox's acquisition of Activision and
one of them
Blizzard.
seems like Activision.
No, I think they're on for it because they had to agree to
Oh,
the deal. So, like, okay, they obviously Microsoft offered so much money
yeah.
to Activision and Blizzard. They agreed to it. They're in the process of buying them, and other crowds said, "No, we disagree with this purchase,"
Yeah, which they're allowed
and
to
they,
do.
they
Yeah.
blocked it, and it goes to court, right?
Right.
Now, I don't know much about the legal aspect of these things or whatever, and I don't have a stake in this at all. But like, from my perspective, as just like someone in the world, like if I wanted to buy something and someone said, "Yeah, you can buy this for this much," and I said, "Great, that's how much I want to buy it for," and then someone else came along and said, "No, I don't want you to buy that."
Okay.
I'd be
Right.
like, well, what gives you the right? Like, we agree. He wants to sell it.
there's
I want to buy it. Why should you have a
okay.
say?
There's a difference, right?
Yeah, right. Okay.
Because you're going to be buying on a smaller scale, right? Because you're thinking, if I want to buy a T-shirt, someone should not be able to stop me buying a T-shirt.
Correct.
But if you go and say, I'm going to buy the rights to be the only person to have all the T-shirts and no one else in the world can have T-shirts, then people are going to get pretty pissed off because they're going to be like, well, hold on. No, we also want
Right.
T-shirts.
Because now you own a monopoly on T-shirts.
Yes. So the problem is, and this I actually learned this last year, when Xbox did their big acquisition of like
Bethesda?
everything. But yeah, Bethesda, which came, and,
Well, that was the big one, right? Like
Right.
Bethesda and ZeniMax.
but they
yeah.
bought Blizzard last time, didn't they? This is
No,
just now.
no. So that's this.
That's this one.
Remember, that's how long this has been going on. They've been talking
Alright.
about this for ages.
Okay.
They have
So-
to finalize the deal by some date in July or something,
Yeah, it's the
or they have to
8th
renegotiate.
July 18th, and if it doesn't
Yeah.
happen, it costs them 3 billion. But essentially, they're not
Right.
allowed to buy everything. There's rules and laws on that to ensure there is a competition.
Mm-hmm.
To ensure
Okay.
that no one has a monopoly on it, which is why I'm very surprised at how much Disney owns.
You see? Yeah. Okay. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, like
What's your take on this?
I'm hearing everything in the like what I've read so far, which has just been snapshots, basically tweets from angry people.
Yeah.
Right.
And
As it goes, the
I
internet.
totally get where absolutely everyone is coming from, but I also the whole thing just seems a bit like toys out of the pram. But I agree with everything. You know, like I do think that this acquisition is it is a bit much, and it's a bit much from a like, yes, I think, you know, they should be like, you could say the same with Sony, right? Sony's bought companies as well, right?
Yes.
And it's like, well, just because this is a larger company and that there's dropping more money, that you know, like all of a sudden it's a big deal. And it's like, it's not quite that, right? When Sony's buying companies, and Microsoft did the same too. No one gave out when Microsoft was buying some of the studios during the end of the Xbox One era.
Yeah.
The problem, the reason they were buying those studios though was for the talent, not for the IP. This is totally different. This is them just like they have bought all these studios and haven't proven themselves with them yet.
Right. So, you know, for people who are worried about Xbox, or sorry, I keep saying Xbox, it's Microsoft.
Yeah.
I know it does mean that like Xbox is a platform through which certain games might get or certain IPs might get certain exclusivity, right?
Yeah.
But it's Microsoft who are buying Activision, Blizzard, and King, I think, is the other company that comes under that bracket, which is the mobile
side of
part
things,
it,
yeah.
right? Which is the one that they're actually worried about, I think. It's not... A lot of people were jumping on the Call of Duty thing.
Really?
They've said time and time again, Call of Duty will not be leaving PlayStation. Phil Spencer has said during this court case, he had to swear an oath, And during that, he has said that we are not going to be taking Call of Duty from PlayStation. Like, if they ever do, they could pull that up because you swore in court of law.
Sure.
Like, they could actually pull them up on that, right? So that's not what they're worried about. I don't think they're not worried about Call of Duty being taken away. Maybe the average gamer is because they don't know that that's not what's going to happen.
I think
because why?
I think Sony are. Yeah.
I don't think they're worried about Call of Duty. I think
they
they're
are.
worried about something else. I don't know. I think it's
No, I think it's Call of Duty. I think it's Call of Duty because one of the things that Jim Ryan brought up in court was, and it was, I think it's badly stated, but I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
Was that the majority of Xbox gamers, which I would say he said that in the US it's more dominant, Xbox gamers, and that they have a draw towards shooting games, right?
Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has always dominated in that area, always, and PlayStation just can't seem to get it together, like, at all. They've tried with Killzone, they've tried with Haze, they've tried with what was the other one they had? Well, Resistance.
Yeah.
Right? They just haven't been able, and they've bought Bungie, so we'll see where that goes, but I kind of doubt that's ever going to actually leave a mark whatsoever. And the biggest seller for both of these consoles is Call of Duty. If you do take Call of Duty away, that is a major
sway. It is. No, it's huge. I don't think they're going to.
You see, I think they're saying that now, but I think, that kind of talk was always happening even during Bethesda.
What it would probably mean, though, I think more so, and this would be a way of them doing it without them ever being able to say, you swore in a court of law that you would not take Call of Duty, blah, blah, blah. No. Yeah, well, okay, you could do that. No, you do the whole, 1 year exclusivity thing.
Yeah.
You do the whole, it's coming to Xbox first, and you got to wait a whole year before it comes to PlayStation.
Yeah.
That's what you do. And then for those gamers who are the real competitive gamers who get the Call of Duty the day it comes out, of course they're then going to go over to the other platform.
Yeah, I mean, it's worked for, some people, I know people say, oh, that's not really that big of a deal, I'll just wait. But that didn't really work out with, Final Fantasy and that, did it?
Well, this is it, right? And I know of many Xbox players who are still, holding out, waiting for Final Fantasy VII Remake to come to Xbox. It's not going to happen, lads. That's not happening. Never.
Well, it might. It might.
It's not.
It might.
It's not.
You know what? In the next generation, might be released in some sort of weird legendary collection.
Okay, you know what? I envision. Yeah, this is when. Yeah, that's when 7 Remake comes to Xbox. Is when the whole trilogy is finished.
Yes, and I think you could
box set.
You could see Xbox taking that approach with a Call of Duty as well. Where it's like, it's coming to PlayStation. Oh yeah,
here's a box set for the last 26 Call of Duty games.
Yeah. It is. It will come. Yeah. Apparently, more Call of Duty players play on PlayStation than do on Xbox.
Well, now, yeah, because it's like, I mean, we've seen it. Me and you, we've got the Xboxes and PlayStations. We tend to go towards the PlayStation. Like, we would have always anyway, really, but
yeah. Well, it's just,
when was the last time? When was the last time you touched your Xbox?
Oh, it's been a while.
It's been ages.
Requiem, maybe.
It's been ages, and I think one of the main reasons, I don't know about you, but one of the main reasons I picked up the Xbox and was really excited to jump into that realm was from their studio acquisitions and the promise of what they could bring. Because I thought the studios they bought are really talented, really interesting, and I would have loved to have seen what they were going to do with them. And we haven't
seen that yet.
Themselves
There's been no fruit there yet, right?
So that would be the thing where I'm thinking that it's a silly acquisition to try to get this Activision Blizzard thing, because they haven't, maybe prove yourself before spending. I actually have the amount in front of me here.
It's a shit ton.
Before you spend $68.7 billion, how about prove that you're going to do good games? Starfield is like their big thing, right? And that hasn't come out, and
That has to do well.
It has to do well.
It has to do
but
well.
it looks too good to be
The pressure
true,
on that is
and
ridiculous now.
Yeah.
I'd like. There's a probability that that game is. Well, I mean, it's a Bethesda, and their games always have bugs and stuff like that in them and glitches. But with the with how people reacted to open world RPG games or any game with any slight bug recently,
Yeah.
Starfield needs to be perfect. And so I
Do you
think
know
it's
what,
very
though?
silly, though. I think it's silly for them to do this.
Just on a side note, for Starfield, I think it's impossible for Starfield to meet the expectations that are on it. Even if it's a 10 out of 10 game and it's fucking amazing and it's the best game that Bethesda have ever actually made, and it's unbelievable, it's still, the pressure on that game is like monumental.
See, luckily
And I
they
don't
can
think
kind
it
of
can
get
live up
away.
to that.
They can kind of get away with glitches and shit because that's just you can
Bethesda
almost
can because it's part of the charm.
yeah.
Yeah.
They need to nail the RPG aspect because that's the part they kind of neglected a bit for a couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do yous now it's possible that the news is already out or will be out or whatever. Do yous think that the acquisition will go through?
Fuck no, I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't. Well, I mean, I don't know, but they do have a good few people against them. Like, I think, I mean, obviously they have PlayStation against them. I think there's even talks of like Call of Duty on the Switch and stuff. So Nintendo might be a little bit like, well, hold on a second here. Might not be the happiest about it. So I think they do have a few.
I actually don't think it matters. Really, for me as a gamer, I don't.
Right, as an individual,
I don't
sure.
give a fuck. But
Yeah.
I do think this makes them all look bad. I think this is a bad image for everyone.
I think if nothing else, it has reconfirmed to Microsoft that keep going. This is a really good deal. Nobody wants you to do this. I think.
Well, yeah, it's
everyone
an
can
insane
see
deal.
the gold mine that you're on.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, I think everyone's like objections to it is like further encouragement.
But it
to,
is, yeah.
even if this one doesn't go, renegotiate, keep trying because there's obviously something here that you've really tapped into.
Yeah. It would be a bit funny if it goes through just because it's like, wow, Microsoft owns PlayStation's first mascot.
Right, yeah. I think it will go through. If not now, I think down the line it'll go through. I think I don't know. I don't think there's enough reasons for it not to. You know, I don't know if there really is enough reasons in the we don't want you to have it. Because that's kind of the argument. And I know it's the whole monopoly thing, right? But it's like, but then if you leave it alone, Activision and Blizzard already have that. It's just changing ownership. It's like,
Yeah, well, there's also
a
fear.
So it's like, I don't know. It's like, would you bring Activision and Blizzard to court now to say, we don't like that you have a monopoly over the things that you have a monopoly over?
Well, I think there's also a fear, like another aspect is like the fear of the quality that can come out of it after Microsoft purchases it. Because they have not proven themselves with any of the acquisitions they've had so far.
Yeah.
There's a bit of mismanagement, poor management. Game Pass turns out, not great. Really not great. So does that affect those games going forward? So even if Call of Duty still continues to be on PlayStation, it is in PlayStation's interest that third-party games are still high quality.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah.
So there is a bit of a fear that the quality drops if Microsoft gets its hand on it.
Like you said it yourself, Chris, I think in a previous episode that competition is good.
Well, yeah.
Well, yes.
So if Xbox starts acquiring everything, there's no competition and all the games will start to degrade.
That's one way of looking at it. It could go the other way. It could breed more competition. It's like, fuck, Xbox have all those things. We can't drop the ball. We can't get complacent. We're going to have to innovate. We're going to have to come up with more IPs to challenge that.
Right,
Possibly.
but that's Yeah, okay, but so one of the first things PlayStation is going to do, because it's the quickest thing they can do, is, or and even Nintendo, is buy other companies. So now what you have is you have all these companies just going buy, and they start buying everyone, and now you have no
After
independent.
this, who's left?
Yeah,
Realistically,
you don't have your
A lot of people,
independent
a lot of people have
kind
been
of game
talking
company.
about Sony going after, not going after, that's the wrong word, but Square Enix.
Right.
yeah, I wouldn't want
A
that
lot of,
either. Like as much as I love the partnership that they have going on, and they've always had quite a good partnership throughout the years.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I just think Square, well, Japan in general, all those Japanese studios, they are doing so fucking well. Like
Yeah,
Square
it'd be
Enix
nice to
doing well,
leave them alone,
Capcom is
wouldn't it? Like,
doing
don't
well.
touch Capcom. Like,
I'm
leave them.
interested to see, is this going to be a revival of Konami? Will Konami like get their shit together? We'll see. Only time will tell. But
Yeah.
um,
Yeah, we'll see.
I think just leave them alone. Like I think Sony's in a good place with their studios and what they have. I'd like to see them like what do you plan to do with Bungie really? Like so let's see what that is. But I'm really disappointed in Microsoft. Because like Halo, like that should have been such a killer.
Yeah.
No one's talking about it. Where's like they have such great IPs, like, and it's just
I honestly think the big shame for Xbox, and they need a win, right? Like everyone's talking about how if they have this, like in a way, there's gonna be obviously people rooting for this. Not that it automatically is a win, like financially, yes, but fucking like, does it mean that there's gonna be any good product out of it for the gamer? Only
don't
time
know.
tells. But like after Redfall, like Phil Spencer was on that kind of funny interview,
Yeah.
and said straight out, it was like, Xbox are in last place here. We are not the top dog at all. PlayStation and Nintendo are kicking our ass.
I didn't like. I think he said that Xbox has been losing since they entered the console war. I don't agree with that statement at all.
No, I think the 360 era was pretty neck and neck for quite a lot of that period.
Yeah.
Well, they
Right?
they kicked the shit out of the PS3 in the first
very early on. Yeah.
Yeah,
First,
yeah.
first,
Early on,
first
It
4
was
years.
only later
let's
on
say.
in PS3's year.
Yeah,
years
like the
that-
last 2 years that he got the PS3,
Pretty much.
that's when it shot up and
with the
caught up.
price drop.
Well,
Yeah,
there was
with
a
the
couple
new
of
design first
couple of
drop, and
things
then
that like how like
La-
they
Last of Us
the
and Uncharted.
Red
the
Ring
games
of
that said
Death.
release.
Games 2, yeah.
if the Red Ring of Death didn't happen, that would have been a real tough struggle between PlayStation and Xbox. But that whole thing like really shook confidence, because it was happening so often, even with replacement units. That shook a lot of confidence. Then they invested heavily and they stopped like showcasing like all the shooter games that everyone wanted to play, and it all became about Kinect.
Yeah, they gambled. It's a weird one because I was actually just about to say what Xbox what I would like to see from Xbox is I think they need to take more risks, because I think buying these really safe studios is great for them for business and all, but
Yeah.
they haven't taken it when they did Halo Infinite. It's like, let's do the Halo everyone expects us to do, basically. Let's do Halo as you remember it. This is Halo. And actually it's like, well, I don't know, mate. I don't know how other Halo fans feel, but I actually think you needed to do a God of War 2018 on this. I think you needed to take a big, bold, crazy risk
Reinvent Halo for the modern era.
and reinvent
Yeah.
Halo. Yeah. And same with like they have other IPs, like obviously Gears of War 6 is in the works somewhere out there. But maybe Gears as a series needs a big change up. Like even when they changed the characters around, maybe they needed to give that series a change up. Are they going to bring back Banjo-Kazooie? Now is the time to do it. But yeah, I think they need to take more risks. The Kinect thing was a risk, and it didn't pay off.
The annoying thing about the Kinect
you know
is
what I mean?
it is incredible.
Right.
It's incredible tech for the wrong industry. Microsoft should have taken that into the computing space. You could have fucking had like this Iron Man level, like that. They have the AR headset now, the what's it called, the HoloLens, right?
Yeah.
Connect that world, that virtual computer world. That's where Kinect needed to live. And in the PC modding community, they do some incredible shit with the Kinect. That's where they should have had it. They should have left it alone from the Xbox. Like it, just
Yeah, yeah. It doesn't suit the home console experience. They really just need it. It sounds like it's an easy thing to say. Games are hard to make, like, for fuck's sake. But Xbox needs great games. And there was something Phil Spencer said in an interview before. I like Phil Spencer. I like listening to him. And,
He's better in
and
interviews
he's
than
very,
he is on stage.
yes, very much so. And he's quite honest, and he's very passionate about games. But like, he said something in an interview once that I didn't really agree with, which is that it's, great games don't sell consoles. And
Incorrect.
I disagree with that completely. I absolutely believe great games are what sell consoles. I think what he was trying to say was
I
that
picked up the Switch for the laugh, sure.
yeah. I think what he was trying to say, and maybe he just phrased it wrong, and if he could go back, he'd rephrase. I think what he was trying to say was that, they're not going to... A great game isn't going to come out on the Xbox now that makes you decide to swap out, say, your play... Because he did say something like that, like, there's no universe where Starfield comes out, it's 11 out of 10, and you sell your PS5 to get an Xbox.
Yeah, no. But there is a universe where
But there's a universe where you go...
Halo, Gears, whatever the fuck you're doing next, right? Where they're all 10 out of 10s. Like, that's the difference, right? On the PlayStation
and it makes
side
you
of things...
get an Xbox as well.
As well, yeah.
Well, yeah, it could be
makes,
as well.
Well, it makes the person who doesn't have an Xbox because they don't see a need to have an Xbox go, fuck, now I need an Xbox.
Yeah.
That's what it does.
Even with Starfield, still not having it. I
Yeah,
still
yeah.
don't have that thing where I'm like, damn, I need to get that. Need to get an Xbox.
Yeah, well, there needs to be more, right? I mean, like, when you look at the PlayStation
There
side
needs
of
to be
things, like,
Mass Effect 4, like...
it's not just God of
exclusive
War,
on
is it?
Xbox.
Right? It's God of War, it's Last of Us, it's Spider-Man, it's Ghost of Tsushima, it's...
Yeah, it's a long line of... And it's the very recent relationship with Square Enix as well is contributing to. Like, there's not just the exclusives, then there's just, like, exclusives that aren't even in-house studios. They've just made deals with certain people, and PlayStation seems to always get like the demos first, and like there just seems to be a lot of perks in terms of the actual games, not just... So Xbox had a lot of perks in terms of service, but PlayStation seems to have a lot of perks in terms of the actual games. If you're a gamer, you will get this game first.
I think Game Pass was the smartest thing they've done as a business model. I know it's, it does have its issues behind the scenes, especially for the developers, but
Yeah.
There's money. There's obviously money there. They have the 68 billion there to pump into their first party studios. Like, it's that in combination with Game Pass, I think it's just such a killer offering. And the whole, like, you get it day one on Game Pass. If they had killer titles like what we're seeing from the PlayStation studios, I don't see why people wouldn't pick up an Xbox.
Yes.
Cancel your Disney Plus, get Game Pass, you're good.
Interestingly, who was I listening to? And they said that and they're part of the writer strike in America. I think it was on the Kind of Funny Xcast. What's that guy's name? Gary? Anyway,
Oh yeah,
Tim the Enchanter. He's part of the he's a writer, and he's there's a big writer strike going on in America at the moment in terms of the TV and movie industry. And they were saying that a big part of it is actually like a protest against the whole streaming sites thing, that they're losing money, that it's not a good business model, and it's not good for the industry. So I thought that was interesting. That it's an experiment that everyone jumped in on, and that maybe it's not proving fruitful in the way that everyone thought it was going to.
Yeah. I mean, I think, just look at the shows that are on it. It's pretty evident.
I don't like. Hold on, that doesn't make sense. It's not just.
I think you're right, Chris. Some really poor ass writing on those streaming services.
Money doesn't always equal quality. Like,
No.
It's
No, not
not
necessarily.
Quality equals money.
It's
money
where
doesn't equal quality.
It's where they decide to spend their money. It's like, yeah,
Sure.
I actually a big advocate of, like, with small production, right, causes these issues, right? You can't pump all your money into making everything look beautiful, so you have to really think outside the box and think about, like, well, how are we gonna do this?
Right, you think back to the PS1 when they tried to make Silent Hill the scariest game ever. They were like, we don't have the graphical capacity to actually make a town. Why don't we cover it in fog? Perfect.
I just
and it's
that
actually
shit's just-
genius.
That shit is genius. So I think restraint causes, grows creativity. But it's just where they're deciding to spend their money.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the issue, and it's
So
not in the writing. That's my point.
Yeah, I know, I understand. So the two things we have found in this discussion is that competition and restraints are what breed creativity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we need competition and we need restraints. That's
so
what we
Microsoft, restrain yourself. Throw that 68 billion up your arse.
I don't know. Okay, final word on it. And who fucking knows? But okay, do you think by the end of this year, Xbox or Microsoft? I keep saying Xbox. I know Xbox is a big part of it, but it's Microsoft overall as a company. By the end of the year, will Microsoft own Activision and Blizzard? Eric.
No.
Okay, Adam.
Fuck, I just don't know, man.
it doesn't matter. Like, just throw a guess in. Like, there's nothing to lose.
Yeah, you
here.
have 50-50 chance here.
Yeah, like you're either going to be right or wrong. And nobody's going to hold it against you. Nobody's... Fuck.
I'm gonna say
like...
yeah. I'm gonna say no. I'm
going to say yes. I'm going to go the other side. I'm going to say yes.
Oh, fuck you, Chris.
But we'll see. Okay, guys, let us know. What do you think? If you watch this YouTube, jump down in the comments, share your thoughts on everything that's going on. Where do you fall on this debate, or do you even give a shit? And do you think it's going to go ahead or what? If this is on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at The Brothers Tate to give your take on Microsoft's attempted acquisition on Activision and Blizzard. I feel sorry for Activision and Blizzard if they want to sell it. They're like, let us fucking sell our company. They just want to. Like, why are you making us keep this?
It's like those people on those hunger strikes where it's like, stop feeding me. I'm trying to starve myself.
Yeah. Well, they're like, we're trying to give our responsibilities to someone else. We've had a lot of issues. We're trying to give them to someone else. Anyway, let us know what you think. If you enjoyed this, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring the notification bell, or of course you can follow us on social media. Thanks everybody. We'll talk to you in the next one.